guess we can go ahead and switch over then. Whew, that's right. Let me
Oh, about to add audio in now.
adjust the light on that. Oh Lord.
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, oh. I'm sorry. I was blinded for a moment. I saw the light. Yeah. Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back.
Zip.
Thank you for joining us here. We're gonna go ahead and do episode 3. It's episode 3 now of the Anime Armada podcast. Oh, what just happened? What just happened?
You noticed that? I noticed I put it on my game. I put it on my game screen and not my podcast screen, and I was like, oh wait, that's the wrong one. I was like, why is it just showing like INF logo and stuff?
Bruh, I just saw you. You were like, oh.
You know me, man.
Oh
Getting
man,
it.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us again. We're your hosts. It's your boy Sato, and
BlackKnight Games. Hell yeah. Y'all
back
know it.
again.
Y'all know the name.
Here to talk anime with you.
Sir.
Now, how you doing this week, Shay?
Honestly, bro, I'm doing really good, man. It's been a good week, man. Other than the storms and stuff,
Dude.
it's been a good week. Can't
Yes.
complain, man.
Yes.
Can't
Yes.
complain.
It's been kind of crazy down here too in terms of weather, bro. Like I don't know if there's been a day this week that I've woken up and it hasn't been like raining and stormy, but it's also Florida, so it's just
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like what y'all do, right?
yeah. Comes and goes, man. Comes and goes.
Absolutely.
Um,
Right.
let's see. I don't even know how
How to bring it up?
how to sort of segue into this. So we just generally just enjoy talking anime as a whole, and of course as being African American, I think we have we have a slightly unique experience with it. So that's why today what we actually wanted to talk about was representation in anime. And I think largely we just kind of wanted to focus on like just kind of discuss our experiences with it, and just sort of how we feel about it, where it's been, where it's headed, all the good stuff, all the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, especially since we kind of see the representation thing playing out overall forms of media, whether it be comics, anime,
Yes,
cartoons,
yes.
live actions. So I mean, I think it's a good topic to touch on, discuss, say our thoughts on.
Yeah.
Oh, uh, I'm sorry. I got sound alerts enabled on Twitch, and Corey just did a fart sound, so it threw me off.
You just heard a fart in your ears, and you're like,
I was like, I didn't do that.
yeah.
Thanks a lot, Corey. Thanks a lot. Oh man, that was funny.
That's good. That's good.
I'm new to that.
You're probably like, oh my god, that wasn't me. I swear to God. Wait, guys. Wait. Wait.
Oh man, but yeah, no, I definitely think it's a topic that I think anybody that grows up liking a specific art form, they want to see themselves in it. You know what I'm saying? They want to feel a part of it. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's something that see, it's tough because I found myself when we first decided that we were going to just kind of talk about this. I found myself thinking about like sort of the question, is representation in anime needed or necessary? Because you got to remember, this is something that anime is a product of Japan, largely. I personally, yeah, absolutely, and it's got really deep cultural ties. So it's not it is of Japan, and as we know, Japan is a place where it's they have like a 97-98% like census of like nationals. So like 97-98% of the population of Japan is Japanese, you know, which you don't find it on.
And man, there's a long history of we could speak about if we got into it of isolation of Japan and all of that.
Bro, yeah, exactly.
There's a whole history behind that. So, you know.
Exactly. But it's and what kind of got me is it's not a matter of I mean, to a degree, it's a matter of who it's for. But when something is brought to a global stage, you know, it is for everyone. And I think that, and I guess these are to touch on a couple of things that, of course, we'll come back to later. Is like when you have anime that are made for Western audiences, you know, because that is a thing. You know, Devilman Crybaby for one. To actually get very more specific to the topic, Afro Samurai. You know, let's go ahead and start there. Afro Samurai was an anime that was made for Western audiences. You know, which is why they went ahead and they had, you know, they brought in Samuel L. Jackson. I think that was, and this is something that I actually should have, you know, dove a little deeper on. I can't remember if the character specifically was made for Samuel L. Jackson, but just like from the get go, they had him in mind for this character. So when they kind of
very much feels like Samuel Jackson.
Yes. I mean, it's kind of cool because like you kind of have the and you've kind of seen the duality because I think largely Samuel L. Jackson, he's someone who kind of plays himself to a degree, but he has a certain demeanor and a certain energy that he brings to it that people want for him. You know, so specifically Afro Samurai, like they wanted Samuel L. Jackson, which is why I love that you kind of had the sort of like somber, soft spoken Afro Samurai. Then you have the wild and unpredictable Ninja. You know, and I like the way that they place that dichotomy. But something like that, you know what I mean? I think personally had really good representation for African Americans in the genre, and I think that's a good. I told you earlier I was going to ask you this question, but who was, because there is a difference. Who was your first black character in anime? And who was your first African American character in anime? Because they might not be the same. You know, like go on.
That's a good one. I would say, what's going on, JS Therapy? The guy. Sorry. What's going on, brother? I would say, my first. I think my first run-in with, I guess a black character would be Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball Z. That's the earliest I can think back, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this can't be us. I mean,
yeah.
Like, yeah. That was terrible. Like, that's not us. But I would say that the first character that I really identified with, that I was like, yo, this is one of us. Like, this is one of ours. Is this is kind of a cop out, but because I watched Dragon Ball Z so early, I would have to say probably Piccolo.
Nah, bro. Nah, man. You can't. You can't. See, he can be. Bro, he can be he could even be your first black character, but I said African American, man, because yeah.
Then I think I would have to say Afro. Then I would have to go with Afro because if now there might be some that I that were there, but clearly they didn't leave an impact. You know what I'm saying? But I think that I would have to say Afro. Yeah, I have to go with that. Like I would say that like he's the one that left the impression on me. There were some other characters like the Piccolos that wasn't necessarily a black character or an African American character that I might have been like I might have saw as representing that, but they weren't actually that. And there might have been other characters that there might have been other characters that were actually, of African American descent and stuff, but just didn't leave the impact. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but so I would have to go Afro, like, but I think it is. I mean, that's kind of something to say that, like, it's kind of sad that I can't think back and really pull more than just the hugely popular, successful, you know,
Yeah, I mean, well, I can
African American.
probably name one that you have overlooked. Um,
Okay.
Jet Black,
Oh shit.
Cowboy Bebop.
Oh shit. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Lewis just said that Jet from Cowboy
Oh,
Bebop.
really? He did? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. See, that's
No, I
exactly.
totally see. That's what I'm saying though.
Yep.
But like, that's what I'm saying though. Like, for some reason, certain one of those certain characters like just go over my head. Like, I don't pull them up as easily. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. No, no, no. I understand, but it's also. I mean, Jet. I do like Jet. As a character, but he's also he's not someone. He's not like one of the. While he is a great character, there are a lot of other more standout characters to that anime. You know what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Compared to of course, why does this happen? When I need the information, it decides to hide deeper in my brain so
No,
that I
that's what
can't
happened when
reach
you
it.
asked me that question.
You know that.
That's exactly what happened when you asked me that question. Oh God, oh God, stop running.
But just in general, compared to other characters in the anime, he's not
Yeah,
as I personally wouldn't say that he's one of the top three most popular characters in that anime. You know. But I would say that he's probably my first like African American character in anime that I recognized, and of course my first black character in anime um, was exposed to Mr. Popo at a young age. Like
see,
yeah,
see, and
like
that is very sad that Mr. Popo is a lot of young black males or young black kids' first introduction. Or let's forget about black for a second. Let's just say young people in general, their first introduction to a black character might have been Mr. Popo, and that's kind of sad. Like, to be honest, like,
I mean maybe not their first, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Like he's a character that a lot of
Lewis said that he's a genie though. That's true, but
well, I mean, and here's the thing. Yes, he is. He's not specifically he's not specifically a human, you know, but like that imagery, and this is something that that we're gonna kind of get into more is just sort of like that imagery is directly tied to a lot of damaging imagery that was used against African Americans. The it's straight up blackface. You know what I mean? Mr. Popo is black with big red lips. You know what I mean?
and a big ass nose.
And that was exactly no, he doesn't have a nose at all, if I remember correctly. He doesn't have a nose at all. But like just that specific imagery is just it has deep roots in American history.
Yeah, without
So just to write it off by saying he's not human is would be to neglect the impact that imagery that has been used
and the drama that
for centuries.
that
Exactly.
industry has,
Exactly.
you know.
So and I think that's why it's also important for us to kind of acknowledge that it's not American. So even if they might not have meant it that way, they still used essentially this problematic imagery. Like no one can say that imagery of blackface is fine. It wasn't. It had no negative impacts. It had such a big impact that imagery has bled into other things, i.e., Mr. Popo. Like,
Yeah, no, that's big facts. And I think it's one of those things where like, the rest of the world has a sort of a different relation when it comes to, um, I guess, black stereotypes and stuff like that. But I do believe that it's the image that America kind of wanted to put out, and it's the image that was put out, unfortunately, and it kind of became that of us early in those 80s, that time that Mr. Popo that was a character. You know what I'm saying? I know we're gonna touch on it a little later. That with time that the imagery has gotten better, but there's still some stereotypes there that is still like it's better, but it's still a little bit. There's some stereotypes there still.
Yeah, yeah.
But real quick before we get too far, because your question, with animes with me, it's kind of hard for me to remember time frames and when anime came out because I've seen so many animes.
Yeah.
But I must say, one of my most, if I have to pick, like, let me pick an impactful
Mhm.
African American character. I'm gonna have to go with Boondocks. Like, I don't know.
Oh, bro, I'm
I don't
so
know.
glad you said that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, yo, I really love like Huey as a character. Like, bro, he was the shit, man. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that was the first time I felt empowerment. I guess, like they were unapologetically black. Like, you
Bro,
know what I'm
and
saying?
so,
And I loved it.
dude, this actually, I mean, trying to structure these conversations sometimes because this ties into a couple of things that I wanted to say, but things that I can't exactly all say at once. You know what I mean? So first of all, I'm glad that you brought up the Boondocks because on a quick little side, I wanted to go ahead and put it out there. Me personally, I consider Boondocks anime. Boondocks is anime. So the way I do it is if the anime influence is pervasive and clear, it's anime. That means Avatar: The Last Airbender is anime. You know what I mean? Castlevania, Western produced. It's anime. We talked about it in our last episode. You know what I mean? Boondocks. It's anime. Like if the influence is pervasive enough and clear enough, to me, it meets the criteria regardless of where it was produced.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Boondocks was one of the first animes to really push out. Uh, in my opinion, I pushed out a great image of us to the rest of the world. Like I think you can go around the world and people enjoy the Boondocks. They enjoy those characters of who they are. They weren't perfect characters by no means, but it was great. Like it was great. Like it was like I said, it was unapologetically us. Like our comedy, our just everything. Like stereotypes, and it was, but it was done right. Like it was good.
It was there was a lot of and this is like Boondocks was such a I can't speak on how it was received
yes,
globally.
Dark Shinobi, you're absolutely right on that. I'm sorry about that. Dark Shinobi was saying that anime is literally a slang term for Japanese style animation.
Exactly, and which is why some people they'll choose to draw the lines. Oh well, it wasn't. I don't care about any of that. It's close enough. It's anime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say about the Boondocks? Dag, it left me. Yeah.
Okay.
No. It's good. It's good.
Your fault, Dark Shinobi. Almost used his real name. That's why.
It's yeah. It's somewhere in there. It's somewhere. But okay. So Boondocks. One of the things that I love about the Boondocks specifically is because I think that largely Black American culture has long had this sort of love affair with Asian culture.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, bro, exactly, dude. That's exactly where I was going, man. Like that's exactly where I was going. Like back to, come on, like it's just back to like kung fu movies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it's always been so there's always been this melding of the two, and it's so wild that you even see that reverse now in Asian culture. How hip hop dance specifically has gotten so big in Asian culture. And even like taking how Asian streetwear has like evolved and grown, and the way that's been like folded back into hip hop culture and anime culture and all of that. Like it's beautiful the way these things sort of blend. And I love that Boondocks was was sort of a melding of sort of that Asian genre with those like black, American with the black American experience.
Yeah.
And which is even more so than Samurai Champloo is a whole different blending of those two.
I was gonna
You
bring that
know,
up.
yeah, and which that does another really actually Samurai Champloo is a really good one to mention because the creator of Samurai Champloo is of course the creator of Cowboy Bebop. Which we have Jet Black. There are actually a number of black characters throughout Cowboy Bebop. There's actually one who is modeled
So,
after the basketball player Kareem. I forget his name.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Yes. Like the creator of, and then even like in his newest one, Carolyn Tuesday, one of the main characters, like she's black. Like the creator of, and I can't remember his name because my brain is just the spicy brain meats right now, and is just not doing it right. But
he's also a huge hip hop head, right?
yes,
Like,
yes,
yeah.
but see, it's what I was trying to get to is just sort of like when you have somebody who has like a personal relationship with the culture, they're able to understand it and translate it better, than someone who is just trying to add something. And don't get me wrong, like me personally, I love seeing black people everywhere. You know what I mean? Like I think oftentimes the way that black people can be portrayed may not be done in the best of ways.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Shinichiro Watanabe is the creator, whose name was just eluding my brain. Thank you so much, Sundari, and welcome.
So Lewis made a statement, and I thought it was a good statement. I wanted to see your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
So he said, I love our culture, but they don't love us the same way. What's your thoughts on that? Because let me give you mine real quick. Like, I think I would disagree with that. I just think that their culture is different. Like I said, that history of isolation, the history of kind of not really wanting to experience other cultures, I think is a big thing in Japan. So I wouldn't say I totally disagree with that, but I disagree with it on some level. Now I do think that that there is clear love for hip hop culture in Japan as you see it growing more and more and more on the underground scene. But maybe I don't necessarily think it's a lack of love, but a lack of like they love their culture, so they kind of stick to their culture. You know what I'm saying? And but what's your thoughts on that?
I would actually I would it's interesting because I think that I would agree for the same reasons that you disagree. Just because I think that because they are just very much a this is Japan, we are Japanese. Just due to all the isolation, and again, like it's mainly they're living, eating, breathing Japanese over there. You know what I mean? It's not so much it, it's not so much that they don't love us because we are us. They don't love us because they love them.
Okay, I agree with you then, because that's where I kind of wanted. Like, I wanted to. Maybe I took his statement wrong, but but I agree with that statement. Like, hey, I don't think it has anything to do with us. I just think they love themselves, and
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
Um, but
But
I think
that doesn't take away
yeah,
from that there is imagery that is utilized, that is normalized, that is problematic.
yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
You know,
I agree with that 100%.
like my biggest the one thing that I want, the one thing that I would want above anything is this is gonna be a little ridiculous. Like,
I'll take that.
listen, if we're gonna have lips, give everybody lips. Everybody has lips. Everybody has lips. But why are we the only ones drawn with lips? Ain't nobody else giving lips except for us. Like,
As
everybody has them. If it's a stylistic choice, make all your characters draw them all with lips or draw nobody with lips. But just giving us lips is fucking stupid. Like, I can't, I hate it. I legitimately do hate it because it just plays into the trope of like big lips and big noses, that kind of dumb shit. You
Nah,
know.
bro, I know exactly what you mean because like every time a black character comes on, you know it's a black character because the lips. Like, and as
They're
I
the
told
only
you
one with
before,
lips.
Samantha is a white Australian and she got bigger lips than me. So like come on, like it's just not black people don't just have big lips. Like other people can have big lips. I'm just saying, and my lips ain't that big. I'm just saying. Don't look at my lips.
Oh man, dude, it's just I can't I don't know. It bothers me. It bothers me. Like and there's just so much.
Louis said both of us has big lips and big noses though. No, I don't.
What do you say?
He said both of us have big lips and big noses though.
I just got lips in the nose, man.
Don't you? You got
Like
it too.
it's big is subjective, bro. Like oh jeez. Yeah, when I think of oh man, have you seen Promise Neverland?
No, no. It's on my list. It's on my. I'm backed up on anime. I ain't gonna lie.
Dude, there's a I mean, well, first of all, this spoiler alert, don't watch the second season. But the first season is I largely enjoyed the first season of this anime with the exception of one singular character. Sister Crone. I can't remember, but she's mammy. Like I just it's
Oh,
dude, like and she's got the big lips. Like they have her
wait, let me see if I can find
she's
it.
kind of like, dude, try pull up an image of her. Pull up Promise Neverland Sister Crone, Crone. I just can't the way that they
Oh
had her. She's
God.
like crazy compared to like everybody else is pretty tame in terms of character, but
Hold on,
she's
let me.
like wild and like just some of the faces she makes are sort of like
Y'all see this?
they can't see it on mine, bro. You shouldn't have shared the screen. You're fucking
Oh,
it
my
up, bro.
bad.
You're fucking
My
it up.
bad. I shared it. There we go. And then I guess you can share it on yours. I don't know how to share it on both.
Nah, I'm not gonna. I wasn't gonna do that because it just messes up
Oh,
the stream.
okay. I got you. Yeah, I can move it over to this screen. All right, my bad. I got it now.
Give me a second. I gotta redo my shit now. Thank you, thank you, Shay.
My
Thank you,
bad,
Shay.
my bad.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. King Flies. What he says? It's American media that influences people's perception. Oh, you're absolutely right, and that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying that American media, the way they put the image out of us out to the rest of the world is a problem. Like the rest of the world sees what comes. Let's be honest. America is the biggest influence in the world when it comes to pop culture. You know what I'm saying? Or really culture in general. Like we move culture, and let's be honest.
No. Let's pop culture. Pop
Pop
culture.
culture.
Let's not overinflate that. It's pop culture.
Okay. Well, I was talking like I guess Western, but I guess that's not Western. But still, like and I would say like America, its images goes around the world, and it's seen by everybody. So if there's a problem with our image in America, there's gonna be a problem with our image around the world, and that's what we're speaking on.
Absolutely.
I don't think we're necessarily. Neither one of us is necessarily blaming Japan for that issue, but we're saying that there is an issue. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
It might not be Japan's fault for it, but they have to see that there's a problem with it and fix it on their end. As well as on our side in America, we got to do. America has to do a better job on the image that it puts out. They have to put out a proper representation of our image.
Yeah, and this is something that's been like a long standing, and this goes into stuff that's not even that we can't even begin to cover in this discussion. Just the we would have to just go so much deeper into like the history of like race and race relations in America that we were just not gonna sit here all night talking about this. That's
Yeah, maybe another podcast. Like
yeah.
we give you
I mean, not to say that that's not a conversation that I'm not interested in having by any means. But I think it and to kind of touch on what was said there, I don't think it's just specifically American media that influences these images. Media in general influences the way that we view society, and I think we are so guided by pop culture in general Largely in most established nations, we are very much driven through pop culture. Um, so really, wherever it's coming out of is going to influence wherever it goes. So the fact that the images, or not the fact that, but the imagery came from America and moved into Japan, or globally, really as a whole. But of course, we're going to see that reflected back, to us in all kinds of other media that comes back out of those countries.
Yeah. So Lewis said, I think we need to put out a more positive images of us, so that won't change. They don't have a choice but to change. Uh, and they do the same. I guess Japan will do the same. If we, I guess us as Black Americans, if we put out better images of ourselves, then they would have no choice but to put out that image. And I say yes and no on that personally, like because it's shown that a lot of like people try to put out positive image, but that's not what's pushed. That's not where the money gets put behind. And unfortunately, a lot of times we don't control those buildings and those that puts out that image. Like so, they only gonna give certain things a chance. So while I agree, I disagree at the same time. But I'll let you speak on that.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from when you say that. However, first of all, right now, all we've talked about was purely physical looks.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about putting out a better image, like we're saying, oh, we need to put our face out there, differently than what America is. We already do that. You know what I mean? It's not like they're not aware of what black people actually look like. It's not like there's not global imagery of black people. It's a matter of the perception of that. You know what I mean? And again, like there's a long history of this sort of imagery is propaganda. You know what I mean? And it's propaganda that's existed for a very long time. So it's had its chance to sink in. It's had its chance to take root. Yeah, it's going to take some doing to undo, but it's also something that we need to understand how it got to here, and that it's not so much about us as individuals. While yes, we do need to make sure that we're putting out images that represent us in the way that we believe is true and in the way that we believe is is something that uplifts us as a community. We have to understand that there are systems that have been in play. Like it's not just simply to say that the individual is responsible for correcting the whole system is, I think, a bit misguided. You know what I mean? Because that's something that I think often allows people to take blame away from the system that has persisted, and then put it back on the individuals who are a product of that system. You know, so I think that sometimes we got to be a bit more mindful of like everything that's at play that's causing these things to be the way they are.
Absolutely.
And that actually kind of leads me into I want to talk a little bit about LaShawn Thomas, because he's somebody who is out there who is I love it because he's actually, I went and I was looking at just some of the stuff that he's worked on. I didn't know that he worked on frickin' Boondocks. He worked on the Black Dynamite animated series. He worked on The Legend of Korra. He has another series, Children of Ether, on Crunchyroll that I have not seen. I didn't hear about that until I was looking into this stuff. I saw Cannon Busters, I saw Yasuke. I enjoyed both of those. But I do think that it takes, it is going to take us putting out, just putting out this content, putting out these stories, to actually get the sort of the sort of representation that we really feel happy with, and that's actually one of the things that I'm all over the place right now, and I'm gonna shorten this here, but that is one of the things that I will say that, to tie back into what I said before, when you have somebody who actually understands, like Shinichiro Watanabe, who has a genuine love for the culture, they're able to put out, more accurate or more thoughtful representations of people, as opposed to somebody who just wants a bit of diversity, maybe.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
so King of Lies, he said that they added a new clan to Naruto, so I think that's a big step forward. Absolutely, I think that anything that expands representation is great. You know what I'm saying? Now I haven't really seen what those Naruto characters look like quite yet. I think I might have seen
Wait,
a
you
couple.
haven't seen any of the what is it? The village, all of Killer Bees. Oh, mostly Killer Bees village is black,
No,
man.
no, no. Yeah. I'm tripping.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I have seen that. So yeah, no, oh yeah, I don't. I think Killer B looks great, like as a character. So you know, so yeah, I think that is a great step forward in
Hey, now's not
yeah,
your
look,
time.
you got a friend.
Now's not your time. Now's not your time.
So yeah, so I think that's great. With the representation, I think that's what you need. You know what I'm saying? And I'm don't get what I'm saying. Like, I don't necessarily think that, or let me say, I don't think that you should just put characters in just for the hell of putting them in. Like, I think they have to make sense to the story. But if you're gonna put in representation, if you're gonna do it right. Don't half-ass do it, in my opinion. Like don't just say, hey, I got a black character, but then that black character, like you said, is big lips and
Yeah. Well,
completely off. Like, just don't put them in if you don't want to put them in right. Like that's just my opinion.
see, it's tough because there is a bit of a fine line, because there is, like, I love that we have a whole village of black people. You know what I mean? In Naruto, but I certainly, it rubbed me a bit wrong that fucking Killer Bee just came out rapping. You know what I mean? And because I think it plays to a stereotype. I think it plays to a stereotype.
No, see, you're able to talk of that more because you're more of a Naruto fan than I am. Like, I haven't watched a lot of Naruto, but yes, that's a problem.
Well, weak ass fucking rhymes. Like, I'm just
I gotta rap.
But I mean, and I think that it goes to it's so I there was something that Tyler the Creator said on about his show. I want to say it was the Jellies, and he changed the first season. The main character was white. Second season, he made him black, and he did it just because he was like, we don't got representation out here. Like, this dude is, I don't remember the direct quote, but he said something along the lines of, he's a goober. He doesn't play basketball. He doesn't rap, any of that. He's just a regular fucking dude. You know what I mean? And that's the shit that I want to see. Like, and that's where I'm gonna disagree with you, because I do think, like, put a character in there just to fucking put him in there. Like, cause I just fucking exist. I might just be at the fucking beach, black as fuck. I might just be at the fucking library or the bar, black as fuck. Like, I don't need a reason to exist in any space.
That's true.
Like,
I didn't look at it like that. So
yeah, man.
You changed my mind on that. I guess I meant it more so as like main character. Like I guess I agree with exactly what you're saying. Like, if we're gonna be in there, like, have us blend in. Like, I don't think we have to.
Yeah.
We don't have to stand out. Like, we don't have to be this loud. Yo, I'm black, bro. Y'all see me over here? I'm black. Like that. We don't have to be that. It can just be like, yo, like, bro, he's a regular ass human being. Like, he has some friends. Like, hey, dude, he happens to be black. Like, it should just, that's what it should be. Like, he just happens to be a black character. It should be like, yo, everything that defines him is because he's a black character. Like,
yes.
I think that's whack to me.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
And
I agree with you. I'm glad that you said it that way, because I didn't want to get that lost. Like,
yeah. No, I mean that's just the way that I think about it, and that's why I never have any problem when it's like, oh, just that random, they made that random character gay. Word. Yeah, because I know some people that are just gay. Like, it's not, I know, and there's so many people that cover so many different parts of the spectrum. Like, to take it back to blackness, like, there are some of us that are very prideful and militant in our blackness. You know what I mean? We all know people like that. We know people where if we talk to them on the phone, we might hear them and be like, who's this? Like, oh man, I thought you were somebody else entirely, man. we don't specifically need to be defined by our blackness. Even though I feel like in many ways throughout our lives we do end up being defined by our blackness. You know what I mean? Just when it specifically comes to in media and entertainment, I just want to see people just be people. You know, like that shit's important to me. That shit's important to me. And that's why I always hate seeing just the straight up stereotype portrayals all the time.
Okay. Hold on. I'm sorry. Louis was saying.
No, I can tell you. I can tell you're reading something.
Yeah.
Wait, you have technical difficulties again, bro.
No, I thought he said my string value was a little low, but for some reason he's saying my value is a little low. Can you guys hear me fine, chat? Can you guys hear me all right? Or is it just
can y'all hear BlackKnight on my end? Okay.
For some reason, I know Louis last time had a problem hearing me, but everybody else can hear me fine. So everybody else said they hear me fine.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Sounds like you just suck, Louis.
So maybe I'll speak more into the mic a little better. But okay, so King of Lies said, hold on, let's see. King of Lies said Killer B is the only one in the clan that raps, so they get a pass. LOL.
Nah. I disagree. First of all, he was like the first one that we saw, and he came out fucking rapping. Like that don't get a pass for me. Okay,
yeah. See, like I said, I'm not a big North.
Yeah.
But
like, you know what? They'll get half point. I'll give it half point. No full point because you still leaned in heavy. On the tropes. So half point. Half point because he's the only one. He is the only one. But still.
Anime that has like a rapping character that always raps. I'm trying to remember.
No, you might be thinking of Devilman Crybaby because there was a lot of hip hop. There was the dude who rhymed in Devilman Crybaby, and that was dope. I love seeing the hip hop influence in general, in anime. You know what? Yeah. On that note, let's switch over to Samurai Champloo.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Like that's a fantastic one, and I think that
one of my favorites.
Yes, and that's another again. Shinichiro Watanabe, you know, he had some darker skinned characters in that one as well. And I personally, I don't have any problem. I don't think this is something that we specifically said
Mugen
yet.
was black. I just want to point that out.
Why is it, bro? That's exactly what I was about to touch on. Like, listen.
Mugen was a black character. We claim him. I'm sorry. In the what Dave Chappelle.
The racial draft, the race draft. Yeah.
We draft Mugen, okay? Just so you guys know that Mugen is ours.
Bro, heck yeah. But you know what? And this is one of the things that I love about representation specifically. This kind of reminds me of a conversation that I had with someone over Facebook about representation. He was saying that we devalue representation when we claim someone like Piccolo or someone like Mugen who is not actually black, and we take them and say that they are one of ours. What are your thoughts on that before I go into?
That's a real, for me, that's a real interesting point of view. Like, I never thought of it that way. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think there's some credence to that. Like, I think that there's some truth to that. Like, in a sense that you're saying that, like, you're settling in a sense, like, because you don't have something, so you're just settling for the next best thing. So, yes, he's right in that in a sense, but at the same time, I don't want to be. At the same time, I don't know if that. What am I trying to say? I don't know if that diminishes the influence that we have on other people too, though. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe not so much Piccolo because Piccolo was like green and an alien, but Mugen, like maybe Mugen is influenced by black people. I mean, I don't know, like. But I don't know. But I do think there is some credence to that, and I do think that yes, I think that you can't. It can't just be that. It can't just be us picking non-black characters and saying, "Hey, we're gonna claim this." It has to be actual representation too. That actual defined blackness or actual defined that hey, this character is a person of color. Like there has to be some of that too. It can't just be the Mugans, the Piccolos, that too. So I do agree on a certain level. But at the same time, I don't think that it's right to completely dismiss like the influence that they might have had, like you know what I'm saying. Maybe they met other black characters in that world, and that's the influence that made them that way. You know what I'm saying. I'm just putting it, like saying that. You know what I'm saying. So like I don't want to influence that.
Touche.
I'm sure I influence some of my white friends the same way they probably influence me. You know what I'm saying. So you know what I'm saying. I don't want to forget that either.
Yeah.
We do influence each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's my stance on it is that it doesn't. I personally do not believe that it devalues it, because I think that one of the things you got to look at when you're talking about stuff like this. First of all, we're talking about like Dragon Ball Z, and and Samurai Champloo. We're talking about older anime, and I think
especially Dragon Ball Z.
Exactly, dude. I think the desire for these characters to be black comes from the lack of black characters in those spaces. So essentially, we had to take whoever came closest to being us. You know what I mean? I don't think that devalues it. I don't think that there's a limit on the I guess influence that representation can have. So someone who's black in America can look at Mugen and be like, oh yeah, like he's one of us, like he's just like us, whatever. Or even just somebody who's maybe of darker complexion in Japan, because again, Mugen is darker than the rest of the trio. You know what I mean? Somebody who's maybe of darker complexion in Japan can also look at Mugen and be like, oh yeah, he's like, that's me, like he looks like I do. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that, of course, Mugen is Japanese. That doesn't make the black kid wrong, nor does that specifically make the Japanese kid any more right than the black kid is. Like, representation is just about being able to see depictions or representations of you, seeing relatable characters. You know what I mean? And I don't think that there's anything wrong with claiming characters, because when anybody claims anybody as anybody, it doesn't make them unavailable to another demographic of people.
Absolutely, and let me point out too that let's remember that Samurai Champloo was realistic to the time zone. Like, they were in like Japan. Like,
no, it wasn't, man. Dude had a mic in his sword hilt. Like that.
I totally forgot about that. But hey, I'm saying certain
I know what you mean, bro.
Like the setting, like they were supposed to be in Japan.
Yeah, that time period.
You remember the baseball team that came over? Like, it was like America just coming over.
Oh man, yeah.
Remember that? So that's where I say that, like, there really, I mean, maybe there was some black people there, but so in an anime where there might not be black people because of the setting that it's in, I'm okay with finding somebody that's close to us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, it'd be different. Now, Dragon Ball Z is a little different, because Dragon Ball Z, you could totally put a black person there. Like, there was black people in there. They were just represented completely wrong. But I think it's different when you talk about, like, animes that, like, okay, it makes sense. Like, why can't there be a black person here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, like, Samurai Champloo, like, no, you're right. There was a guy with a mic and stuff. But, like, I feel like it's a little different just because the setting that was supposed to take time, the time period is supposed to take place in, maybe that there wouldn't be a black character. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I'll let you.
Yeah, I mean, but and I guess I would have to look a little harder at exactly what the date range is that takes place over. There wouldn't specifically be black people, or a ton of black people for that matter, in Japan at that time. Like, it's possible that's considering that's after
came over, right? Because during the baseball game, I thought they were saying that, like, Westerners just came over to Japan. Like, so I mean, not to get too much down this road, but I'm just saying that, like, it felt like it was in a specific.
See, it's been a minute since I've watched it. I mean, it is in a specific time period. I'm trying to remember in terms of, Anyway, it's not relevant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But,
can't get too hung up on the other pieces. That's it.
Lewis said Piccolo was an angry black guy. LOL. Yo, I mean, he was pissed off all the time. But he was green. He wasn't black.
I mean, Piccolo was angry, but I mean, large. But he was pretty. He was pretty calm. He was pretty chill. You know, comparatively.
He just didn't take anybody bullshit. Like, I don't necessarily think that's angry. Like, he was just like, hey, man, like, he knew himself. Let me put it that way. And he was a great father too.
He was he was in touch with his Namekian ancestry. He didn't forget where he came from.
he gets Dad of the Year, you know. Just saying. But but yeah, let's go back to Samurai. We were talking about Samurai.
Oh my god,
we're getting too far off.
Yeah, I don't even remember how we got over here, man. That's yeah.
Thank you, Louis. Lewis. Sorry.
Oh man.
Fuck yeah, he was. All right,
yeah. Oh man. But let's see. Did you watch I can't remember, and I know I've asked you this before, and I'm pretty sure I've asked you this within the last week. Did you watch Cannon Busters or Yasuke?
Oh, not yet. And let me point out, just because y'all, just before y'all say, hey, there's a BlackKnight anime, y'all, you ain't watching none of it. I haven't really watched many anime lately, much anime lately, just because of, you know, working and kids just starting school. So I'm going to watch it.
No, just
this guy, man, this guy. But no, I'm gonna watch it. Yasuke is definitely one that's on the like top of my list, so I'll probably watch that next. I'm gonna be honest. I watched the Witcher movie before that. Sorry. That's another discussion though. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
What were you saying about that? But those two animes specifically?
Oh no, I was just asking if you had 'cause I honestly couldn't remember specifically if I had asked you.
So I haven't watched those yet, but I do know the criticism that those animes got, and I know we had spoke about it briefly. What's your thoughts on the fact that even like BlackKnight anime being more harshly judged than typical anime? Like, do you feel like that anime was more harshly judged than other animes? Because when both of those came out, there was a lot. They got a lot of flack for different reasons.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, I haven't watched them yet, so I didn't know if they were necessarily fair or not. But can you speak on that?
See, it's kind of tough because I have a sort of I guess a bit of a. I'll say that I watched them both and enjoyed them both. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say that either of them were particularly award worthy. You know, but
most anime aren't.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the way that I felt about it. Is I felt like, and it's interesting that that you asked that because I had went on Anime Planet, which is the website that we use amongst our friends for tracking our anime and whatnot.
Yep.
You should check it out and sign up. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just want to put that out
there. Yeah. But it does have it. They both just have average reviews, which I can 100% agree with. Because they're not anything. They're special to me because of what they represent to me. You know what I mean? In terms of stories being told, they're not the most complex or shocking, but they're entertaining. They are entertaining, and I feel like when I spoke to a lot of people just trying to get their feedback about it, I feel like I heard much more negative things than just sort of average things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let me say that I think it's absolutely beautiful that you can separate your thoughts on it versus like what the actual anime actually was. Like you're able to say, hey, this was special to me, but I can understand like in general, yes, it's an average anime. But fuck, I just lost that last point. I was wait, what's the last thing you said? Oh god, man, I'm getting old, man.
You know, just start taking like a daily multivitamin. Like, yeah, I got some Centrum over here if you want one, Shay.
Oh man, but yo, I think it's great that you're able to do that. But do you think that do you think that that maybe people judged it harsher and didn't give it a chance before they even watched it? They were already looking for something to be wrong with it.
That's hard to. I don't think that's something that one can definitively judge. Simply because we don't know what's in somebody else's mind. You know what I mean, or what's on somebody else's heart. So I don't know if I would be willing to say that specifically. But I guess I could say that I do think that sometimes things made for Western audiences, specifically out of the anime world, can be received with very mixed views. And because I think that while we tend to talk very highly of Devilman Crybaby, and I haven't looked up what it's rated on Anime Planet, but I have heard like a lot of most people that I encounter generally really love Devilman Crybaby, but I do hear a lot of mixed things about it, which I get. It's also it's out there, but it's also made for Western audiences. So part of me wonders if it's a matter of, because again, despite the fact that you know, these things are made Western, they're largely going to be consumed in Japan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe not largely, just because there's more people in the world globally than there are just solely in Japan. But I think do you know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying. So all right. So King of Flies said, I have not heard bad reviews. Thoughts. So are you talking about Cannon Busters and Sasuke in particular?
And Yasuke.
Yasuke. Sorry, I said Sasuke.
Or Devilman Crybaby, or what?
So okay. So what you're saying is, you believe that is more so the fact that they're Western made versus that they were black made.
I'm speculating. I wouldn't even begin to begin to try to surmise exactly, you know.
I got you. Well, King of Lies. Well, I can tell you that like Cannon Busters and Yasuke, right?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
All right. Both of those. I can tell you like in the anime groups that I was in, I constantly seen people talk about, oh, this is so average and blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, most animes are average. Like the majority of them.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just because the market is just flooded at this point. But yeah, I've seen a lot of bad reviews or negative reviews towards those animes. Like I said,
like negative to lukewarm.
Yeah, negative to lukewarm. Like, generally speaking, there wasn't so much positive stuff said about him, and I found it odd because there was some. Granted, I have to watch those animes, and I will. But there was some other animes that I felt were very, very average that get glowing reviews. Shit, Dragon Ball Z is one of those. Like, Super gets super positive reviews, and it's like, bro, this is like, there's nothing special.
It's tough to just I mean, it's hard to it's hard to kind of compare. Like, I know what you mean. But it's also kind of hard to compare anything to Dragon Ball Z at all, just because of the global cultural influence of Dragon Ball Z. Like, fair. Dragon Ball Z changed anime as a medium, bro. You know.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Damn, you just shitted on my point.
No, my bad, bro. No, I wasn't trying to.
I'm just playing. But no. You're Dragon Ball Z is a bad example. I just couldn't think of another one. So Dragon Ball Z. But no, like yeah, I do believe like like the majority of the animes that I've watched have been like, oh yo, this is cool. I like it. Like they weren't nothing to be like, yo, this is dope as hell. Like you know what I'm saying? Like the
Yeah.
majority of them have been like, yo, this is cool. Like you should check it out. Like you know what I'm saying? So I don't think there's nothing wrong with that being the sentiment. Like you know what I'm saying? Of being like, yo, this is cool. Go watch it.
Yeah. Because
Like
I think we got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? Like we've got to build to
yeah.
to the epic shit. We've got to build to the stuff that's going to stick with us for generations and whatnot. Because I do feel like we are relatively. I mean, you can't even say relatively. Like in terms of like black made anime, we're new to the genre. Actually,
The West in general is new
yes,
to making a
the
producing
West
anime.
in
So
general.
so I mean, like you got to think Japan got decades in front of us. So like you know what I'm saying. So it's when somebody is taking that time to perfect their craft or get better at their craft, like it makes sense that they would be ahead of us. Like I wouldn't expect for the very first few things that are being put out to be home runs out the park. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, like I think we're getting there. I mean, if we're talking Western anime in general, like you said, Devilman Crybaby, the Castlevanias, we're getting there. And even let's speak about the representation in those animes, or particularly Castlevania. I like the black character in Castlevania.
Dude,
Like,
that's
it's very,
yes,
very
yes,
well done.
yes.
You know,
He's actually my favorite character from the series, and of course, in true my brain fashion, Isaac. Okay, I couldn't remember his name for a moment. I was like,
yeah,
oh my god, I can't. We just talked about him last time. Like,
you owe too.
yeah. Let me take my Centrum Silver. Like,
Lewis said, what are you up? Wait, what? What are you up? That's about Studio Ghibli. Oh, what about Studio Ghibli movies? Those are not Western made though. I mean, if that's what you're asking,
wait,
maybe
what
that's
about?
representation.
Yeah, like what
What
about
do you
Studio Ghibli movies? Like what?
like?
What about?
You're asking me about my thoughts, but what do you ask about it? Like about representation or? Cause I mean, that's a good point. Now that I think about it, do any of those movies have black characters?
I do not even.
I don't think so, and I've seen like all of them, but I never really thought about that there should be one there. That's interesting actually. Overall thoughts about their movies.
I mean,
if we're trying to tie it into the representation talk, you might have a point. Like I don't think there's any representation in those movies, and I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. I couldn't tell you why I don't have a problem with it, but I don't. I don't know if that's being a hypocrite, but
yeah, bro.
yo, oh damn. Shit, you go.
I mean, as far as like Ghibli and representation goes, like so I do think that while we may want the
Okay, he said there's probably one of the largest studios in Japan with the greatest reach. So I guess that's why he's asking what is our thoughts on.
yeah, and that that's actually more in a direction that I was going. But I think that when it comes to and this is I don't think that I had actually said this yet, or maybe I did. I can't remember. We've been talking for a minute. But when it comes to essentially the forefathers, because when I think of Studio Ghibli, I tend to think of them as sort of like the grandfathers of sort of anime, not specifically in saying that they were there so long ago, but just in terms of they're sort of the older generation when it comes to anime. and again, anime is a largely a product of Japan. When you have old people, somebody as old as Miyazaki making stories, somebody who like him who's lived in Japan all his life, again, a place where the population is like 97, 98% Japanese. I promise you, he has probably not had a ton. Like, don't get me wrong. This is an individual who has probably had plenty of opportunity to travel and see the world and interact with all kinds of different people. Um, but he probably hasn't had a huge wealth of experience interacting specifically with black people. So he's not the type of person that I'm looking for representation. Because he's gonna go and he's gonna do things the way that he's always done them, because that's specifically Miyazaki, that's Ghibli, they're gonna follow his lead. I think that it's more so up to the the younger ones, the younger generation, because at the end of the day, we're the ones who are more open-minded. We're the ones who kind of want to see this spectrum of color across the globe. So while it would be great to see Studio Ghibli do something like that, I have no expectation for that. I wouldn't even say I specifically have a desire for that, because just with the different interviews and stuff that I've seen of Miyazaki, like the type of person that he is, that's not something that we're gonna see. And I had started to say before, and I may have actually said it, like that's why it's, to some degree, it is on us getting into those spaces. It does take those who have again, those who have like a passion or a love for the culture, like Shinichiro Watanabe. Yeah. you know um yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's
Okay, so real quick, King of Fly said James Kelly was traced all his life by Japanese artists. The dude from Enter the Dragon, 1973. Um, yeah, but so I wanted to point out that, because what you said kind of brought me into this mindset. I think that anime should be like hip hop. Hip hop is black owned, like it's black made. You know what I'm saying? Like but it's been imported around the world. We don't got no problem with we see hip hop in Russia to to Japan to South Korea, everywhere.
everywhere.
Everywhere. Like hip hop is everywhere. And I see hip hop artists from the United States collab with people from other countries and big up them. They don't really put them down. I don't ever really see. I mean, maybe it happens, but I don't know. I'm sure it does. But you know what I'm saying? But when other people come into the hip hop space, even if they're outside of their culture, I do think that they're given a chance, as long as they're pure within the culture. And I think, for me personally, not to speak for you, but I think that's all I ask for when it comes to black representation in anime, and with more minorities getting into anime and producing their own anime. I just wish that we're embraced and allowed to exist, if we're coming in there with the mindset of like, yo, we love your culture and we just want to expand on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're not trying to steal it. We just want to put our own little spins on it because we're fans of your culture. Like I said, it's the same thing that is done with hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We allow people to become fans of the culture and allow them into the culture. We embrace it, for the most part. So I mean, me personally, I think that's the way I kind of want to see representation happen in anime. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, yeah, I guess that's what it is. What did you say? Wu-Tang is the best at anime from art cover and short movies. Yeah, Wu-Tang did a big thing to bring anime popular into the hip hop culture.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang was one of those things. And Wu-Tang is they're loved out in Asia. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
and that's my thing. Like I would like to see us allowed to be embraced like that. You know what I'm saying? They were allowed. They're allowed to be embraced, and I think that more of us should be allowed to be embraced. If we're doing it, I can understand if we're coming in and just trying to make money off of it, and we don't really have any real love for the culture or real respect for the culture. I definitely think this is important to have respect because it's something that isn't ours. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's important to have respect. But yeah.
Yeah, and I would say that, I mean, just kind of, growing up, as and anime has always been close to us, so we've always had discussions, with like-minded individuals, and I think that largely there is, just a straight up love for it. You know what I mean? Like, I absolutely love seeing, just the way. I mean, of course, I in general love the way the world as a whole has embraced anime, but just specifically, I love the way that that Black people have embraced anime. You know what I
Absolutely, me
mean?
too. Yep.
Because I remember when there were days when it was like, oh, you watch that Asian cartoon shit, like, that shit's just for like nerds and like white people and shit. Like, that's, I love that it's no longer that. you know like I can confidently say that we come from a time where loving anime was something that wasn't necessarily as widely embraced in general, just regardless of black or white, whoever.
That's a fact. All the jocks and stuff today like to be like, oh, they love anime. They didn't love anime when we were back in school. We were considered nerds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's great to see that, like you said, like that the popularity of anime become more broad. People feel like it's okay to say, hey, I like anime. I remember growing up, listening to rappers like Lupe, Kanye. They talk about how they like the anime, but it wasn't really out there. And now we see people like Meg Thee Stallion and other people that openly like put anime in their like little shorts and stuff. Now I can't say how much of a big fan they actually are of the animes, but I'm just saying that they are.
Well, I mean, hold on. Before let's touch on that real quick, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think that I don't. It's interesting to me, and I find this specifically when it comes to like nerd communities. People tend to question whenever somebody says that they like something. All of a sudden, it's called into question how big a fan they are. You know what I mean? Why is that relevant?
So for me, it isn't. But I put that out there because I put that out there to say that, like, because I know that there's people out there that's gonna be like, oh, she don't really like anime. All I'm saying is that how the fuck do you know if she likes anime or not? Like, you don't know that. Like, you don't know what she does in her free time. But
yeah.
So I'm exactly with you. I'm not one of those people that be like, hey, like, I'm more into anime than you are. Like, for me, it's like, oh shit, you like anime?
Yeah, like what have you seen that I haven't seen? What have I seen that you need to watch? Yeah.
You need to see this. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, I agree with you 100%. But I just kind of put that out there just because, like, I know that there's gonna be people that watch this and say, shit. I know some of our friends, close friends, that probably like, man, she don't really like anime.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I said that. But no, I do agree that, like, I don't. I think this elite nerdism
gatekeeping,
yeah, I think that's wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that just stifles the growth of the genre.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I think that if we had if we did just sit down and try to question everybody's qualifications as far as to whether they're worthy of being considered a fan or not, like, we would end up with nobody to talk to about this shit. People wouldn't want to bother getting into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I did have a very interesting question here. King of Lies said, I like the thought of African American anime made in the US. What would the stories be about? Probably the future. So I'm guessing he's saying it'd probably be about the future. But what would the stories be about if they made in the US? I don't think. Okay, you want to go first?
Oh, I mean, I was literally just going to say anything and everything.
That's exactly
like,
what I was about to say. Yeah. Why does being made in the U.S. stifle us? Japan makes anime about literally anything, like anything. Like, so, I think the same thing can be done here. Like, I don't think that we have to be limited just because we're African American or just because we're American or whatever. Like I think
Exactly.
anime is made to bring out your imagination. Like it's made to take you on an adventure. That's the for me personally. That's the reason why I watch anime. That's the reason why I play video games is to escape and be in a different reality for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I think that it can literally be anything. Like you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, and dude, I agree, and I'm very much like I personally, and this kind of ties into the way I feel about. I feel like in America, when we tend to have movies about black people, it tends to specifically, more often than not, be about slavery in some way or another. You know what I mean? When there's
Oh
so
yeah,
much
absolutely.
more, and I just I don't want to see a bunch of anime about the black struggle. You know what I mean?
Me
Like
neither.
while an anime here or there about being black in America would be nice to watch, I've seen that a billion times. Like I want to see
Yeah, I
some.
live it.
Yeah, bro. Like
Like
I
I
don't
don't want to see.
we
I don't want
we
to do that.
we shouldn't be relegated to those type of stories because we just are such diverse people. Like kind of going back to what I said earlier, like some of us are just fucking black. It's not like it's not a big part of, we don't uh I guess we don't consider, some of us might not consider that a big part of our personality. Like, some of us might not be like militant black, but we're still black, and that doesn't make us any less black just because we're not walking around with a Black Panther beret on and shit, you know what I mean? So we live so many different types of lives that the story should reflect that.
Facts.
Black made anime doesn't need to be about being black in America. It doesn't specifically even need to be about the black experience. It just has to have good depictions of black people. And by good
Facts.
depictions, it means we're just fucking people. We're just people.
Fucking shit up. I want to be a
I
Gundam
mean,
pilot.
even if not fucking shit up, we're just fucking people. Like,
Fucking people.
Gundam
No, I'm
pilots, fucking people, killing people. Like, I don't, like,
anything. Yeah,
we are just human beings existing in a space with other human beings, and I
I
want it
agree,
to
man.
be treated like that.
I agree. I agree 100% on that. Lewis said, "I'd love to see milestone characters made in anime style. I think it would reach both sides of the same coin.
See milestone characters.
Yeah,
What does that mean exactly?
me neither.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. What does that mean? My bad. I'm sorry. I didn't understand that. I'm sorry, man. Maybe I'm being stupid. Let us know what that means. But Angle 96 says, um, oh, this is Zach. Hey, what up, Zach? He said, shouldn't we be aiming as a society to not assign certain stories to certain races because it amplifies stereotypes? Absolutely,
Exactly. That's
absolutely.
what we're saying. That's
That's
exactly what
exactly
we're
the point.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exactly our point. Yeah, it should just be, hey, you're a black character. So what? You're just a human being. You can a black character could be an astronaut. You can be samurai. You can be whatever the fuck you want to be. Like it shouldn't matter. Like you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying. So that's exactly what we're saying. Lewis said, milestone comic books, the character Static Shock icon. Oh, you talking about the comic book? Oh, I guess he's talking about milestone characters from the comics. Like, should those be made
Oh.
into animes? Like Static Shock and stuff. So, oh, absolutely. I would love to see Static Shock anime. That would be dope. Personally.
I mean, I think that we probably. I mean, I think that's something that we'll actually probably kind of get because just all of DC's animated universe, all the stuff that they've been doing, like there's definitely a very, you can see the anime influence
Yeah.
in their newest, like actually maybe for like 10 or so years, most of the animation stuff that they've been doing has been very anime influenced. Um
Batman. The Batman. What was it? The one with the when he went back in time, he was in Japan. That was very anime stylish.
oh, and that's a whole different dude. No, I was even just talking about Justice League, War,
Oh yeah.
Throne of Atlantis, all that stuff. Like, there's definitely an anime influence in those. Um, but if we do see the return of Static Shock, I do think that, well, personally, I would love it if they were to do it in that style. And I would love to see that. I actually have not read up much on other characters that came from the milestone acquisition.
Yeah.
Static is really the only one that I know that came out of that. Though I know there are others.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. So yeah, Lewis, absolutely. I think those stories will come. King of Lies says One Piece has the best diversity I've seen. One Piece has. Oh, well, he said it again. But yeah, One Piece. I've seen a lot of One Piece.
I have not.
I've seen a lot of One Piece, but I think you're right. But I don't know if I would go as far as to say the best. I
I
would have to go
wouldn't
back
be able
and
to
I
say
would have
that.
to go back and I would have to go back and like really research, rewatch all of that. To be honest,
Yeah,
really,
I haven't
really.
seen enough to. I know that Usopp is considered black by a lot of people. But I haven't seen like when I watched One Piece, I watched, and this is so bad, I watched Dub Piece, like 4 Kids dub One Piece, like way back when on TV. That's not even. I don't even know if that counts as me watching One Piece. Like,
I mean, I've seen a lot of One Piece, but it's personally I think One Piece should end. I'm just saying, but
yeah.
that's
Well,
another
you know what?
conversation.
Fire Force actually has a number of, and which is a newer one. Fire Force actually has a number of black characters, and actually, one of them, Charon, is probably my favorite character in the series. They've got some good depictions of black characters in that, and they're people who just exist. You know, there's just a couple of black people sprinkled in there.
Yeah, shit. We were talking about it before it started. Bleach has quite a bit of black characters.
Yes,
And
yes.
they're just characters. Like they're not like Yoriichi.
Yoriichi, what's his name?
What's his name?
God, I couldn't even remember earlier.
Was it Kaname? Kaname? I think that's how you say it. Tozen.
I'm gonna find it. I am gonna find it. Hold on.
I think that's how you say his name. Hold on. Let me.
It's like Kaname.
Yeah. I'm bringing them up on my screen. You guys should be able to see him. This is who I'm talking about.
Yeah, Kaname. Yeah, Kaname Tosen. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a dope one. But Bleach has a lot of dope black characters that are just they're not drawn any differently from the other characters. They don't have no wild fucking stories or they don't come in rapping or none of that. They're just people, and I appreciate that. You know. But yes, King of Lies. You saying that One Piece has black people on both sides of the war, some weak, some strong. Yeah, I think that's dope. You know, like I said, I can't remember. It's been so long since I watched One Piece, and I kind of gave up on it. But I think that's dope. That you know, if they're just regular characters and they're just part of the world of One Piece, I think that's dope. That's kind of what we're striving for.
Yeah.
I think both of us, neither one of us are asking for it to be like make them the focal point of the story. We're just saying like, hey, just even the supporting characters, like you know, like even just random characters you pass, they can be black and not be a stereotype. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like my thing with it, like more than anything is I'm not specifically asking for them to throw a black person in every fucking anime. You know, because again, and I don't even know how many times I've said this at this point, anime is largely a product of Japan, which has a 97-98% Japanese population. So to expect them to do that is misguided.
Yeah.
But I just want the depictions that we do get to not be stereotypes. Like Bob Makihara. Bob from Tenjo Tenge. Like he was he was actually like his design was influenced by Bob Marley, which is why his name is Bob Makihara. He's got the dreads. But they gave him the lips.
Here he is. Yep.
Like
lips. You guys can see it on mine. Yep.
you know that's
lips.
yeah, like that's the shit that I have a problem with.
Yeah.
You know, that's exactly the shit that I have a problem with. That kind of stuff just gets to me. That kind of stuff just gets me. And of course, I just got to give a little honorable mention because I never like to see the one black character die. And so I was relatively disappointed in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders.
Oh, yes.
When Muhammad Avdol The only
Yeah.
black dude. Spoiler alert. Click off now if you don't want to hear what happens to him. First, he's shot in the head and killed, which I'm like, how the fuck? But then no, he wasn't dead. He wasn't dead. And then they bring him back just to kill him. I'm like,
Yeah.
why is he the only one on the squad? They killed him twice. They killed him twice. Like, come on now. My man deserved better than that. He deserved better than that.
Yeah, nah, I agree. I agree. I agree 100% on that. That is unfortunate too when it is like a good character and you like him and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, man, this is the only one we got. There's like 8 other characters you could have picked to kill.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. Like, but yeah. So yeah, any other thoughts you have on the topic or? I mean, of course, I think this is one that we could definitely get deeper into, but I think that might be for another.
For another stream, for another episode. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting seeing, and we didn't even. There's so much more that we could kind of cover because we didn't even talk about like we didn't even talk about cosplay. We didn't even talk about like that's a whole other when it comes to representation, and that even leans a little bit more into like that's a separate conversation.
I was gonna say
that is a conversation that I do think that we'd like to have, but that is a whole separate bag of fucking worms.
Yeah, I think cosplay. Yeah, I was thinking that too, and I was like, yeah, cosplay should probably be its own conversation.
Yeah.
Like, and I kind of like would like to talk about cosplay in general, but as well as the representation. But,
yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, and even that one's not even just a matter of cosplay and representation. That one goes into more like cosplay and colorism or cosplay and racism.
Yeah.
So that's a different. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Lewis just asked, Star Wars animated. Do you have any expectations for that? Honestly, I don't know if I saw the trailer for the Star Wars.
I don't think. And you're talking Bad Batch, right? Is that
Bad Batch, Lewis?
Because see, I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not 100% sure.
I know that there is like a Star Wars animated thing coming up, or that just was released or something.
If it's Star Wars, I'm gonna watch it. So
I'll check it out at some point.
Yeah, I'll check it out if it's Star Wars. But
yeah,
I to be fair, I haven't watched the trailers for that. But if you can send us the trailer, over on the Instagram, Intergalactic Nerd Federation.
I'll post it up in the Discord. Post it up in the Discord.
Yeah,
we'll check that out.
Go over to
we'll check that out.
Intergalactic Nerd Federation on the Discord. If you have Discord, you can download it on your phone. Join the Discord, and then you can be a part of the conversations. And maybe we might look to pull some people into
the conversation. We'll see. So, you know what I mean?
So join the Discord, become part of the Discord, and then that way you can give us your topic. Give us some ideas of topics you guys want to hear, and also you can send stuff like that to us.
Yeah, absolutely. We get in here, we game sometimes. When we're not in here when it's not First Wednesday, we're getting in here and we're gaming. So you're definitely
game with us too. So absolutely. But I guess to Lewis said no. In September they're doing a Star Wars from an anime production. Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know anything about.
Now this is starting in they're starting production in September, or this is releasing in September.
Yes, Lewis, is it starting or? Wait, Zach, what are you talking about? Shay isn't very good. What are you talking about? Wait, you trying to say I'm very good at video games? Is that what you trying to say? I'm better than you. All right, Lewis said it's releasing in September, he believes.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
So there should be a trailer for that. Yeah. Oh wait, it is September now, yo.
Oh yeah, it's already September.
Yeah. So it comes out this month. Okay.
Yeah. So send us that trailer in the Discord, please. Also, like I said, if you guys haven't already, go over to the Discord and join the Discord. It's a much better experience to get to.
I think there's links on both of our channels to join to Discord. to join the
And
Discord.
it should be a link in my description to the Discord on this video right here. So you should be able to click it and just go ahead and join. But it allows you to, become a little closer and engage with us. So please do that. Like I said, you can download. Discord isn't just a computer app. You can download it on your phone and use it on your phone.
Yeah, and that's, I will say that I do really enjoy, I enjoy this format a lot. I like being able to have you all, listen in and, type your opinions and your thoughts in in the chat, and we can comment on them. And because a lot of the times we'll get questions that are just things that we didn't think about, or like, very good points, or, stuff like that. And it just adds to the discussion. And that's the thing, is like, we just love having this discussion, or not this specific discussion, but discussions like this in general with people.
Yeah, man. And, there's some plans that I'm not going to bring up now, but I think there's some plans to bring up some other things to you guys to help maybe bring you guys some more engagement that you guys can be a part of. But yeah, man, we're excited, man. We definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in and checking us out.
Absolutely.
You got any more thoughts?
Oh, I'm full of thoughts, bro. But we can go ahead and we can wrap this thing up, man.
All
yeah.
Right. Well, like I said, go over to the YouTube and Instagram at Intergalactic Nerd Federation. Check out some of our older videos. Let us know what you think of them. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe on
and Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, Twitter. The Twitter is Nerd Federation. YouTube and Instagram, Intergalactic Nerd Federation.
Yep, and then over on Facebook, you can check us out at Intergalactic Nerd Federation as well on Facebook. And of course, go ahead and you shout out your Twitch. I always fucking
you gotta how trouble pronouncing this shit? No.
You know me, I always pick it up, man.
Yeah. Follow me on Twitch, Sato WG. Just had a WG to my name there.
Over here for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and then of course, I'm your boy BlackKnight Games over on Twitch. You can also follow me on Instagram at BlackKnight Games as well. But yeah, man, we really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. Everywhere you see us, even on our Twitches or on our Facebook pages, everywhere. Please.
Absolutely,
like,
we appreciate the support.
Hell yes, and please join the Discord over at Intergalactic Nerd Federation. That way you can be a part of it, and you guys can give your thoughts on different topics you guys want to hear. And then maybe we even bring you in on a topic. Like we could say, hey, this is a topic we want to discuss. So hey, you want to come in and be a part of that conversation? Maybe we'll let that happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll have to talk about that more. We'll talk about that more. Yeah.
So, but yeah, man. Like, thank you for all the love and support, man. We had a really good viewing today, so appreciate all the questions and everything, man.
Absolutely. And of course, we're doing this every first Wednesday. Kind of messed up a bit this time around with the announcements and the reminders about it coming up, but we'll definitely be sure before the next one comes up to get all the reminders out on time. Be sure to check out the YouTube, because we're gonna have clips from this posting throughout the month, running up until our next episode 4. And let me actually look at the calendar. This is 3, because the last one was 2.
Oh yeah.
So the next one will actually be October 6th. Okay. So
October
set your
6th.
calendars.
So set your Google dates right now. 8:30, always 8:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Absolutely.
So get ready for us. We don't know what the topic is yet, but you guys will we'll put out an announcement for what the topic is. But
absolutely, yeah. Be here or be square. It's not that serious. It's not. But it'd be nice to have you come back.
See lips. Oh man!
All right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
Absolutely. Have a good one, guys.